Before starting After Effects, please install the free plugin VCORB. Go to videocopilot.net/ORB and download the version of the plugin designed for your operating system. Now, start After Effects and open a 3D Earth connection project. The main composition has a layer called Controller. Here you can find one effect, called 3D Earth Connections. This effect contains two options groups. Let's focus our attention on the second one, Earth Appearance. The first control, Earth Style, sets the map style that you want to assign to the planet. The template includes 5 different styles. So, for example, if you change this value to 2, the Earth look will be changed from realistic into an old map of the world. It is recommended that you insert manually a value from 1 to 5. Please do not use the slider. With Enable Clouds, you can decide whether to use the clouds or not. If they are enabled, you can set the amount and opacity. Enable Cities Lights shows or hides the lights on the cities in the night areas. Sun Position allows you to change the position of the sun. So, if you don't want to have dark areas, simply move the sun in front of the world. You can also enable and disable the Earth Haze and set its color and intensity. Each Earth style has its own predefined background, which can be easily replaced. To do that, open the composition called Custom Background and place your image or tint here. Now, go back to the main composition and check the Use a Custom Background checkbox. The clouds, day, night, and haze options are only usable on the first Earth style. With all other styles, these options will still be there, but won't have any effect on the map. If you want to use the Style 4 or Style 5, you can also change the map color. Open the corresponding composition and replace the existing colors in the Color Control layer. Run the script and start placing your points on the Earth. This operation is very easy. Just type the name of a city, region, or country in the text box and press the Enter key. The script retrieves a list of locations. Select the right one and double-click on it. The coordinates of the selected place should appear in the latitude and longitude text boxes. Now, press the Add Point button and a location pin will be placed in the current position on the Earth map. In the Layers panel, a new layer with the name of your country or city has now been added. You can also avoid the use of the search location by manually typing the coordinates of a place. This can be useful, for example, if you need to set a point on a specific site of the ocean. In this case, I suggest you get the right coordinates visiting www.latlong.net and place them in the latitude and longitude text boxes. This script uses an external service to geocode places. Therefore, if this service is temporarily unavailable, the script won't be able to find your place. If this happens, the only way to place your points on the world will be the manual insertion of the latitude and longitude values. Using this method, the pins will be named with their latitude and longitude values. Points are placed even when the country is in the back side of the Earth as to the current visualization. If you want, you can rotate the Earth at any time to see them. In the 3D Earth Connections effect, open the Earth Movement group and change the Y value of the Earth Rotation property. You are free to change the size of a point. Just select it and increase or decrease its scale. After setting all points, you're ready to create connections. Select the starting point. Hold down the Control key and select the arrival point, then press the Create Connection button. The connection line will be immediately created. As you can see, the connection layer has 2 markers, Start and End. These markers establish the speed of the line, so if you move the end marker forward, the connection line animation will be slower. As connection lines are paths, if you want to modify their curvature or height, you need to select a final vertex to show line handles. Pull them to adjust the line height or change its curvature. Another variable that you may need to change is the line slope. Select the connection layer and press the R key on your keyboard to show the rotation properties. Now, change the X rotation. The line height and slope can be used to invert the direction of the connection, like in this example. Let's start with connection line options. Each connection line you create will have an effect called connection options. In this effect, you can decide whether to use a solid or a dotted line, or even to use them both. Use Line Color to set the color of the line. Stroke to adjust the thickness of the line. And Line Opacity to set the opacity. Of course, you can change the color of the dots. Set their size. Modify the distance of the dots with the gap control. The dots can also be animated. Set the speed percentage to change the dot speed. The direction of the dot's animation can be reversed by enabling the Invert Dots Animation checkbox. By default, when a line arrives on the final point, it remains visible. But if you prefer, you can enable the Jumping Line option. In this way, once the line arrives at the final point, the starting point runs after it up to the arrival point, where it disappears. You can also decide to keep the line visible for some seconds before starting this disappearing animation. Simply change the time offset value. "3D Earth Connections" includes 9 different pin styles and a custom pin. You can replace the current pin style with a different one. For example, select one or more points, choose from the drop-down menu the pin style you want to use, and press the OK button. If you want to use a custom pin, open the composition called Custom Pin into the Pins folder and create or place your pin image, but always remember to switch it to 3D. Now, go back to the main composition. Select the pins that you want to change, then select the custom pin and press OK. Each pin, excluding the custom pin, has a control layer that you can use to change its color. Go to the folder called Pins and open the composition of the selected pin. Into this comp, there is a color control layer where you can change the color of the corresponding pin. Now you may set the connection line's start and when the pins appear. Let's start with connection lines. Simply slide each connection layer forward in the timeline, leaving it where you want that line to appear. Use the Earth rotation control if you need to show any hidden connection. Do the same procedure with the pin layers. With 3D Earth Connection, you can also highlight countries. Move the time indicator to the time on which you want the highlight animation to start. Then, in the Country to Highlight text box, type the name of the country, select it from the list box, and press the On button. You can choose a different color by clicking on the Color button. If you want to turn off the highlight on the selected country, press the Off button. The fade out will start from the current time indicator position. To completely move the highlight from the selected country, press the Clear button. If you created several highlights on different countries and you want to move this effect on all of them, press the Clear All button. To adjust the opacity of the highlighted countries, select the controller layer and change the country's highlighted opacity value. Placing a text or a description on a pin is very easy. Go to the Labels folder and open the Labels Preview composition to see a preview of the available labels. Take note of the chosen labels' names. For example, Label 9. Now open the Label 9 folder. Here you'll find two compositions, Label 9L and Label 9R. These labels are identical. The only difference is their orientation. Let's just assume that you want to use the Label 9L. Open it and replace the existing text with yours. If you want to change the color of this label, use the Color Control layer. At this point, duplicate the labels as many times as is the number of pins on which you want to apply a label. Replace text and description on each duplicated label. Go back to the main composition and drag the first label to the timeline. Obviously, the label will not move with the pin because you need to link it first. So, select your label, hold down the Control key, and select the pin with which you want to connect it. Now press the Connect Selected Label to Selected Pin button and repeat this operation for all labels. If you want, you can manually change the orientation of the labels, simply changing the rotation values. In the Pins folder, you also have 5 different counter styles. Modifying the value of the counter is very easy. Just go to the Counters folder and open a counter composition. Replace text and description and change the numeric value with yours. The folder Image Labels contains 20 already duplicated image labels. Go to the folder called Image Tab 1 and open the Image Placeholder 1 composition. Place your image or video here. Now open the Image Tab 1 composition and replace the existing text and description. As you did for pins and connection lines, you now have to adjust the time position of the labels in order to make them appear at the right time. Let's now create the Earth animation. You can do it manually, adding keyframes on the Earth rotation and Earth position properties. Or you can create a basic animation using the continuous animation option. With this method, the Earth will rotate non-stop. You can also set the rotation speed and rotation direction. For a more precise control of the animation, you can use the Schedule Animation option. As you can see, controls are disabled. This happens because an animation of the Earth is already active, so you need to press the Remove Earth Animation button to enable these controls. Now, select the point layer you want to start from and press the Go to Selected Point button. The rotation of the Earth will change in order to have the selected point in the center of the composition. Select the Controller layer and press the U key to show the Earth rotation and Earth position properties. The script has just created one keyframe for each of these two properties. With the time indicator exactly placed over the keyframes, you're free to change the Earth position as you want. For example, you could change the Z position, in other words, the zoom, or move the Earth along the X and Y axis. Very important. If you are creating animation and you change the Z position of the Earth, you can't create new connections or connect labels to points. Move the time indicator to the point where the connection line has arrived. Now select the second pin and press the Go to Selected Point button. Move your time indicator before the starting point of a second connection and press the Wait button. As you may have noticed, the selected point is now centered as to the X-axis only. If you tick the Automatic Y Earth Position checkbox, when you press the Go to Selected Point button, the script will automatically move the Y Earth position to have the location in the center of the composition. Keep in mind that if you increase the Earth zoom, due to the Earth curvature, the location will not stay in the center of the composition. In this case, you have to manually adjust the Y position. When you press the Go to Selected Point button, even if you manually change the Earth position, the Earth will go back to the standard XYZ position. So if you want to be in a different position, you have to change these values again. the script cannot understand the desired direction of your connection. So, if you press the Go to Selected Point, like in this example, the Earth could rotate in the opposite direction as the one you need. Just modify the Y value of the Earth rotation, adding or subtracting 360 to the current value, and the direction of the rotation will be reversed. That's all. Thanks for watching, and enjoy 3D Earth connections.